Good day and Assalamualaikum. Welcome to PA214, and the topic that I am assigned to impart to you is the Fourth Industrial Revolution. So by the way, I am Yahaya Bimonib, your presenter for today. Now, the 4.0 industry, or what we call as the Fourth Industrial Revolution, is actually the era where we, ngayon ay kasama. So, the era that we are currently in is actually included into the 4.0 industry, or the 4IR. Now, this is the very reason why it is a crucial thing for us to discover and learn what is this 4.0 industry. Now, what is Fourth Industrial Revolution? The term Fourth Industrial Revolution was coined by the founder of the World Economic Forum, a former professor named Klaus Schwab. So Schwab wrote a book with the title that described an era marked by technological revolution that is blurring the lines between the physical, digital, and biological spheres. Now let's break that down. So technologies like artificial intelligence, or known as the AI, and the Internet of Things, or the IoT, are become engraved in our day-to-day life. So we also have the voice-activated virtual assistants, kung mapapansin niyo yung mga cellphone natin wherein we can use our voice, to have an assistance in finishing our task online, di ba? May mga ganun yan. Or naka-register na yung ating voice within the particular device, and it is very easy for us to nagamitin yung isang device. So, yun yung mga other contribution nitong 4IR. And we also have the Face ID recognition, right? Or healthcare sensors. So, those things are all under this topic that we are going to expound. So, to understand more the idea, firstly, attempting to unpack the concept of the 4IR, or the Fourth Industrial Revolution. So this is done through making a brief reflection of the first three industrial revolution. Yes, we have the first three industrial revolution before this era that we have right now, in order to properly contextualize the 4IR. So first, before anything else, the Industrial Revolution, also known as the First Industrial Revolution, was the transition to new manufacturing processes in Europe and the United States in the period from about 1700s to sometime between 1800s and 1840. So it was a time when manufacturing of goods moved from small shops and homes to large factories. So kung noon medyo traditional way, pero sa pagpasok ng Industrial Revolution, after the prehistoric era, is mas nagkaroon ng large factories na mas napapadali at nagkakaroon ng mass production. So this shift brought about changes in cultures as people moved from rural areas to big cities in order to work. So this transition included going from first, we have the hand production methods to machines. So from mano-manong paggawa using our hands, bare hands, is nung pumasok na yung Industrial Revolution, nagkaroon na tayo ng machineries. Okay? Dito na na-introduce yung ating mga machineries. And we also have here new chemical manufacturing in iron production processes, increasing use of steam power and water power. Later on, we will tackle the first Industrial Revolution, kung saan nag-umusbong ang steam power. And also, the development of machine tools and the rise of the mechanized factory system, and led to an unprecedented rise in the rate of a population growth. So as you can see here, on your screen, makikita natin yung mga yung pag-evolve or pag-revolve ng ating 4 industrial revolution. So you can see here in the first revolution sa 18th century, naka-steam-based machine tayo, doon na ipakilala yung steam-based machines. Sa second industrial revolution, which occurs around 19th to 20th century, doon naman umusbong yung electrical energy-based mass production. And sa third industrial revolution, later on i-differentiate natin, or we will have to distinct, no, the third and the fourth revolution. Somewhat magkapareho sila, pero ano nga ba ang pinagkaiba nila? Under the third industrial revolution, this occurs at the 20th century na, wherein computer and internet-based knowledge are already introduced. And afterwards, dun na pumasok yung ating 4IR, wherein the second information revolution in the early 21st century ay umusbong, no? Dito na natin makikita or makikilala yung mga terminology na tinatawag natin na artificial intelligence, no, or yung mga big data and cloud. So later on, we will expound those terms. So, para mas maintindihan natin, no, we're going to unpack these first three industrial revolutions. So first, we have the first industrial, the 1.0 industrial revolution. This is the shift in production done by hand to machine. So, syempre dito sa first industrial revolution, ito yung era kung saan natapos na yung prehistoric age. So, doon mano-mano using the bare hand. Sa pagpasok ng first industrial revolution, doon na pumasok or na-discover ang ating mga machineries. So, this is the introduction to power loom, the mechanization of production facilities with water and steam power. So, dito na naipakilala yung steam and water power, the improvement in manufacturing in other processes, and it is actually 30 times increase in iron production that made some major impacts on British society, including the rise of factories, urbanization, humanitarian problems, and improvements in transportation. So, mas napadali na yung kanilang pamumuhay on this era compared doon sa prehistoric age, okay? So, in the steam engines was one of the most important inventions of the first industrial revolution, wherein steam engines power the first trains, steamboats, and factories. So, dito na naipakilala yung mga trains, no, kung saan mas napapadali yung transportation natin, hindi na tayo gumagamit ng mga kalesa and the likes, and the steamboats and factories. So, in addition with that, in the first industrial revolution, again, it started in the Great Britain around 1762 at lumaganap ito sa Europe and America at early 800s. So it was powered by the major invention again and again, the steam engine, and the result, the new manufacturing processes, the creation of factories in the booming textile industry ay umusbong na dito. Okay? So now, let's down to the second industrial revolution or the 2.0 IR. So from the late 1800s, the second revolution was marked by mass production and new industries like steel, oil, and electricity, like the light bulb, the telephones, and a few inventions are actually introduced in this era. So again, it began in the 19th century through the discovery of electricity and assembly line production. It was called actually the technological revolution. Dito na umusbong yung mga technology natin, yung mga ginagamit natin. Here, medyo napadali na din yung communication, no? Mas nagkaroon ng conveniency when it comes to communication kasi dito na umusbong yung electric or yung ating mga what we call this one, electricity, like na kung saan nakaakibat yung mga telephones and the likes. So, in the introduction to the assembly line to the slaughterhouse in 1870, these give rise to steel, chemicals, petroleum, and electricity. The development of steel and oil industry occurs in this era, expansion of railroads, wherein electricity became the primary source of power for factories, farms, and homes. Kung yung ang factories na-introduce from the first, mas na-utilize ang mga factories because of this era, the second industrial revolution, kung saan yung mga factories is powered by electricity. And same, nagkaroon ng mass production, particularly sa consumer of goods. And we also have the third industrial revolution. So this is sometimes known as the digital revolution. Okay? Dito na nag-start yung ating mga digital stuff, okay? Or that is the reason why tinawag itong digital revolution. These occur in the second half of the 20th century, particularly at around 1950s or 1975, no? So in just a few decades, we study invention of the semiconductor and the personal computer and the internet. So in this era, dito na na-introduce yung ating um, semiconductor at saka yung mga PC and internet. Yes, the internet is already existing in this era. Okay, so in the third industrial revolution, nagkaroon ng computing and personal computing, or the PC that we have, and the internet on this era. So pero yung personal computer natin in this era actually is yung mga computer na, if naalala natin, ito yung may malalaking likod, not the PC that we have now na flat na. So yun, use of electronics and computers to automate manufacturing worldwide. And in addition with that, in the world of industries, two major inventions, the programmable logic controllers and robots, helped give rise to an era of the high-level automation. At yung high-level automation na yan, doon na pumasok yung ating fourth industrial revolution. So, since alam na natin na introduce na pala ang mga technology, the internet, digitalized na pala tayo in this revolution or third revolution, so bakit pa tinawag or bakit pa inintroduce ang fourth industrial revolution? So, what is that particular aspect that separate the fourth industrial revolution from the third? So ano nga ba? Bakit pa kasi nagkaroon ng fourth industrial revolution? So the expert says that main differences is that technology is emerging more and more with human life and technological changes faster than ever. So dahil sa pag-introduce ng technology, we all know that technology needs changes, no, as time goes by. Habang tumatagal, mas nagkakaroon ng innovation, ng invention, at the same time ng changes, no, regarding with technology. So in this Industry 4.0 or the 4IR, Fourth Industrial Revolution, signifies the promise of a new industrial revolution, one that marries advanced production and operation techniques with smart digital technologies to create a digital enterprise that would not only be interconnected and autonomous, but could communicate, analyze, and use data to drive further intelligent action back in the physical world. So here, let's see here this example that we have on your screen, kung paano ba nagkaroon or gaano ba kabilis yung pag-emerge ng technology, at the same time kung paano ba ka-level up yung 4IR natin when it comes to adaptation, or when it comes to easily make things done and faster. So here we have, for example, the telephone. So again, telephone was introduced in the second industrial revolution, I mean. So sa telephone, it took 75 years para lang ma-adapt ng 100 million users ang telephone. So it took 75 years para lang itong 100 million users ay mag-engage into telephone. So imagine that, ganun katagal yung proseso para lang ma-adapt natin, no, the change brought to us by these changes. So sa second industrial age, masyadong mabagal yung adaptation ng technology or the media itself. And the other one is the Instagram. For example, ang Instagram is under the third industrial revolution, kung saan napabilis na din dito yung adaptation stage natin. Within 2 years, the Instagram users nakalakat na sila ng 100 million users within 2 years. So marami nang nag-sign up ng Instagram within 2 years in the third industrial revolution. Now here in the fourth industrial revolution, we are all familiar with the Pokemon Go. I think this was 2 years ago or a year ago. I think 2 years ago yung Pokemon Go na application, wherein it's just 1 month. 1 month lang is nakapag-adapt na tayong lahat, or karamihan sa mga citizens are already using this application, no? 100 million users are already adopting this application within a month. So ganon kabilis at ganon ka-epektibo yung 4IR natin. So that's the difference between, that's the gap or the separation gap between the what we call this one, the third revolution to the fourth industrial revolution. Okay, so I hope nagsisync na sa ating lahat yung mga dinidiscuss natin dito. So now let's down to the technology used in Industry 4.0 or the 4IR. Ang mga nakikita natin sa screen natin ngayon are actually the technologies na ginagamit natin in this era, the Industry 4.0. We have the cybersecurity. I know every one of us are familiar with these terms, no? Or probably yung iba hindi natin masyadong familiar kasi hindi pa masyadong nag-a-adapt yung Philippines, no? Sa 4IR. Just like the country in Bangladesh kung saan yung 3 or the 3IR pa lang hindi na sila masyado makapag-adjust, no? Much more pa kaya ngayong 4IR. So karamihan pa sa atin is hindi pa nakaka-move on sa mga traditional way natin, no? So yeah, we have here the following technologies. We also have the Internet of Things or the IoT, the cloud computing, system integration, simulation, additive manufacturing, autonomous robots, big data, and augmented reality. Meron din tayong tinatawag na 3D printing, no? Kung saan inintroduce din ito during this era, the 4.0 industry. So for the purpose of this course, I'll be just discussing the technology used in Industry 4.0, particularly to cloud computing and to the big data, no? Sa big data tayo, cloud computing, and i-add na lang natin yung 3D printing. So sa cloud computing is relatively new system logic that provides a huge space of storage for the user. Over time, the performance of technology keep on improving. However, the functionality of machine data will continue to be stored into the cloud storage system, allowing production system to be more data-driven. So company limitations can be minimized since more data sharing will occur across sites for production-related undertaking in the Industrial Revolution. So, lahat naman siguro tayo familiar with this cloud, no? Pag narinig mong cloud, usually pumapasok sa isip natin is yung mga online storage, no? For example, the iPhone kung saan if limited lang yung hard drive mo, no, yung storage mo mismo sa phone is mapupuno na, pwede kang mag-sign up into a cloud kung saan pwede mong i-store unlimitedly yung mga information or data that you have, diba? The cloud computing, and that's under also the cloud. Pero here we are talking about cloud computing in a broader sense, no, kung saan ito ginagamit natin mga gobyerno, no, our public administration, and even in some organizations. So the cloud has many uses in the public sector as well, no? Sa ating mga public sector, nagagamit din itong cloud computing. So the national innovation today is achieved through data. Okay, take note that innovation cannot be achieved. When we say innovation, this is the creating of new ideas or new policies, new things, no, na ini-introduce natin. Hindi ito ma-achieve without data, the data that we have or the data we need to gather. And thus, using cloud data centers as tools to fuel such innovation is crucial. So for you to innovate ideas or innovate things, you have to gather huge amount of data. Hindi lang yung mga katiting na data that we have. So the public sectors are using this big data that we have, no, storing in this what we called as cloud computing for us, that will be used, for you to innovate, no? Innovate in to implement change within your organization, to implement approaches in your organization, in the like. So it's very crucial talaga for the innovation yung pag-gather ng big data. And also, such centers are not just large storage systems, but also allow advanced public services to innovate how civil servants work. So, yun yung sabi ko kanina. So, such centers are not just large storage system, but also allow advanced public services to innovate how civil servants work. So, this open data and data transaction make the advancement of related sectors possible. So recently, the setup of big data and analytics platforms has supported database decision and policy making. So yung nasa-store natin ng mga data, so if you're going to innovate or make some changes with the policy, no, or you're going to make some decision, so we can actually support all of this, the policy making, the decision making, supported by the data that you gathered that is actually being stored in this cloud computing. So yun yung gamit niya sa public sector. So in transitioning also to e-government in the truest sense of the word, cloud-based integrated data centers are crucial. So kung mapapansin natin ngayon, kung noon hindi tayo masyadong gumagamit ng electronic in what we call this one, sa pamamalakad ng ating gobyerno, here in this era, the 4IR, we have already introduced and utilized the e-governments. So with the help of the cloud, we can easily and smoothly yield or give services na naaayon sa e-governance. Yes. So ICT to appear down the road can be added to such centers, so further diversifying the public services. So the demand for the government and the smart city development is exploding around the world. So thus the cloud is expected, this cloud is expected to help the government use administrative resources more efficiently and lay a stable foundation for public sector operations. So yun siya, yung cloud computing talaga is a great tool for us to innovate. So para mas mapadali at mas maging smooth ang ating pamamalakad in this era, because everything now is being supported by technology, so the organization have no choice but to step by step adjust and embrace the changes brought by this era. And we also have the big data and analytics. This is actually under the Industry 4.0, it leads to huge amount of information. Yung kanina, actually pwede silang connected lang si big data at saka si cloud computing din, wherein the amount of information is enormous and huge that is being produced and obtained daily, where current processing and analysis is unable to cope using traditional methods. So hence, big data has become a hot topic recently. Big data is the utilization of digital technology to conduct analysis. So according to Forrester's definition, big data can be divided into 4 dimensions, which are volume, variety, value, and velocity. So, halimbawa, yun nga, if you are going to get some data, huge data, then that's the time that you're going to save it in the cloud. And the big data has this tool of na pwedeng i-analyze niya yung nasabing data, and that analyzed data will be used to improve, to innovate, and to adapt changes in our organization or in our government or in our day-to-day living. So let's now down to the impact. The impact brought to us by this era, the 4IR. But before that, let's always remember that these technologies that brought to us by this era, is actually have several lessons for us. The journey so far with these new technologies born from the Fourth Industrial Revolution has produced several lessons. So first is the acquiring, accumulating, and managing data are fundamental for the application of all new technology. And second, the success of a project in adopting new technologies depends on how committed staff are to resolving issues in the field. And to ensure continuity, upper management must maintain interest in these projects. So collaboration across department and cooperation with other countries are also essential. So under this 4IR, may mga impact ito sa mga sumusunod in terms of economy, business, national society, and individual. So the impact in economy, we have here the critical dimensions in terms of growth, employment, new skills, and the nature of work. Sa growth, technology and innovation are at an inflection point and will soon unleash a surge in productivity. Malaki talaga yung impact nito when it comes to productivity. In employment, new technologies will dramatically change the nature of work across all industries. So take note sa employment, Isa sa mga challenges sa 4IR is that, parang take it all siya na type. Kasi if you are not indulging yourself into technology, if you are don't ha- or if you don't have any skills or capabilities in this era kung saan kailangan maging flexible and versatile ka talaga when it comes to technology, not only in technology but in innovation, and you should be a type of employee na kailangan talaga ay open ka into changes, or else no, hindi ka talaga magkakaroon, or the opportunities in this era is actually not for you kapag hindi ka open to these things that we have discussed. And also, new skills, low risk jobs in terms of automation will be those that require decision making under uncertainty. And in terms of nature of work, workforce will do a portfolio of things to generate income. So, as Mr. Schwab said, the velocity is disruption and the acceleration of innovation are hard to comprehend or anticipate. Yes, it really requires a lot of changes. In terms of business, the impact no na binigay ni 4IR under the aspects no of the following in terms of customer expectations, moving to a world of continuous adjustments and refinement while ensuring that human dimension to the interaction remains at the heart of the project. And data-enabled products, continuous learning from data and analytics, continuous talaga yung ating learning in this era because you cannot stick to one particular strategy or techniques, no? Kasi as time goes by, day by day, year by year, ay nagkakaroon ng innovation or new changes when it comes to strategizing no the organization, or even the managerial skills no are being actually innovated. New operating models always in beta, so this now world requires companies to respond in real time whenever they are. So, as Mr. Schwab again says, business, industries, and corporation will face continuous Darwinian pressures, and as such, the philosophy of always in beta. Pag sinabi natin beta, always evolving, no? That will become more prevalent. And also, no, in a national perspective, yung impact nito na dala ni 4IR is that the disruptive changes are redefining how public institutions and organizations operate. Ang laki ng impact ni 4IR din sa ating public institution and to each organizations no when it comes to their operation. So in the old world no, sa ating mga previous era na na-discuss kanina, decision makers had enough time to study a specific issues and then create the necessary response. But technology will increasingly enable citizens, providing a new way to voice their opinions. So cities need act like entrepreneurs. They have to compete in attracting talents. Okay, so Mr. Schwab says again that government should be essential partners, of course, in shaping the transition to new scientific, technological, economic, and societal frameworks. So, kailangan talaga ng partnership ng government para mas mapadali yung pag-embrace natin at pag-implement natin ng 4IR. So, impact naman sa atin, no, as an individual, the fourth industrial revolution is not only changing what we do, but also who we are. It will change our identity in many aspects, our behavior, no, our privacy, ownership, consumption, time for work, time for leisure, and the likes. Kasi halimbawa dito sa behavior, if noon ang behavior mo is you are, you really is like a person kung saan hindi ka talaga open for changes, no? You have this level of masyadong mataas yung level mo in resistance of change. So in this era, you really have to change your behavior. You have to be pragmatic. You have to be open for the changes that is occurring, no? Privacy isa din to sa issue na nangyayari ngayon sa 4IR kung saan yung iba nagkakaroon, mas napapadali yung pagnakaw ng information, pero may mga technology naman ngayon na ginagamit para mas ma-secure yung privacy natin. Ownership, consumptions, time for work, kung ang time mo noon sa work mo is masyado kang traditional, ang tagal-tagal, ngayon mas napapadali na so long as you have the equipped skill and knowledge to the particular changes, no? And your time for leisure and the likes. So, yun. So, I think that's all. But before I end this, no, as for the wrap up, the fourth industrial revolution. Okay, take note, everybody, that the 4IR in public administration, which which is also commonly as the Industry 4.0, presents both challenges and opportunities for governments across the world. Okay? Buong mundo na mismo. So this relates to how governance structures, policy paradigms, and service delivery needs to transform and be fit to this Industry 4.0. So the introduction of rapid technologies dictates that government, its agencies, structures, and entities transform from their traditional way of doing things if they are to meet their service delivery in other constitutional directives. So actually that is according to Badimo 2019. So yeah, for IR is a great challenge for everybody, but still it also brings what we call this one, opportunities, a great opportunity actually for the both in the public sectors, in a managerial approach, and even to our day-to-day living. So I think that's all for today. I hope you learned something from this presentation about the 4IR. Thank you so much, and wassalam.